Look, it's live. It's live. We're on. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the inaugural meeting of the Travis Knight Collectors Fans Society. We are meeting to discuss the one and only Bumblebee trailer this week. Actually, I say one and only, but there was 3 of them. Other stuff came out this week. There was a bunch of... Actually, I say a single bunch. There was a single New York Comic Con reveal from a company of some Transformers descriptions. Some new Studio Series bots are coming on the way, and we'll have all that and more after this. Someone's playing with something. I don't know.
Sorry, I'm playing with Outback.
God.
Playing with Transformers on a Transformers podcast.
Far out.
I know. Don't bash me up. I'm a nerd.
Just go to the credits. All right. Welcome, everyone. This is episode 167 of Australian Transformers Weekly, also known as the Travis Knight Appreciation Society. After 3 spectacular Bumblebee trailers dropped this week, all 4 people, or spoiler, maybe not all 4, but one of us might be a little bit pessimistic about the upcoming Bumblebee movie. But we will be talking about that shortly. Look, I'm pretty happy about it. Mikey's making some kind of a signal to me, and
I love it. I don't know who you're talking about.
I actually have a sneaking suspicion that the camera might be locked on Mikey for the intro.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Was that the case, Brad?
Shalom.
No, you're showing, and now I'm showing.
Cool. Yeah, great. Okay, good. So, look, welcome to Australian Transformers Weekly. I'm Jason. Joining me from his undisclosed location in country Victoria, Brad Mull. How are you doing?
The band's all back. We got a full house.
It is back together.
Yeah, we do have a full house. I'm not sure who you are, Mikey.
I'm coming from my undisclosed location in Banwath. I don't know how to say it. Banwatha or something. Banawatha. Where the hell Brad's from? I'm behind him.
There's a reason Jason just says country Victoria.
Yeah. I thought you would have noticed this by now. Right.
Banawatha, whatever. You
are barnstorming this intro.
Yeah, thank you. Good.
Hashtag side knee.
Hashtag Blitzwing, not Starscream, but we'll get into that.
We will get into that.
There is just so that you, the listener, are aware, there is a bet going on between Mikey and Max.
Not the first time that we've had a bet on this show, by the way.
As to the presence or absence of Starscream and / or Blitzwing in Bumblebee,
now,
following the trailer this week, which we will talk about later.
Okay, I believe Starscream's in it as well, but
you know how I said we'll talk about it later on. That doesn't mean we're talking about it now.
No. What you said is that I don't think that Starscream's in it, but I do think he is. But I just don't think he is who we are.
Brad, just edit this part out, please. Thank you.
Maybe edit out every.
To the corner, boys.
We do have a bell that will sound.
When Mike
it's probably a good idea. Essentially, the bell is there to stop us when we get a little bit off the beaten track. When you get on
the rails,
when we go into Starscream and Blitzwing discussion. However, it's more likely that it's just going to sound when Mikey talks.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, not heard since episode 67 of Off the Shelf. The Waffle Bell is back.
There's a rich and varied lore to this podcast.
And how much Jason hates it, which is why it's been absent.
Seems entirely appropriate. Round 1. And now he doesn't bring it.
Oh.
So, Mikey, Max, what have you guys been up to? Mikey, you go first.
It's been a while.
Finishing off my course, so that's pretty cool. Other than that, been pretty light collecting wise. Haven't really found much last time I was on the show, unfortunately I had to duck off early, so we didn't even get through that. But I've only really picked up a couple of things since then, and was supposed to be at a meetup this afternoon, but just totally forgot.
It's gone well. I did go to said meetup, but yes.
Yep. Other than that, yeah, pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good. Max, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Went to Melbourne on Sunday, Monday, and took the overland back to Adelaide, which is
why would you do this?
Because I like trains.
Wait, that's
Fair
a
enough.
diesel, not electric train. How do you make it all the way back?
Well, it's just the power of good old Australian railway engineering.
They just have a dude with a can halfway there to fill it up.
Yeah, as you get on the train, they hand you a little bucket of oil and say, "Just hold on to this."
Mhm.
But no,
Please
it's
do
a
not
trip well worth
spontaneously
doing.
combust around our oil.
No, it's a trip well worth doing if you want to see, a really nice bit of varied Australian landscape.
Stunned silence. Stunned silence.
Okay, I should segue. Jason, what have you been up to?
I have been recovering from being a bit sick last week and had a quiet weekend last weekend. This week, New South Wales, we have a long weekend this weekend. So
Yes.
I have been getting up to looking forward to what I will be doing in the future, which is probably not much of anything actually. But I don't know. Might try and go and see a movie or something on the weekend.
Yeah, the first time in my working career that I've had the weekend off as well. So I've got Monday off, and I also have a long weekend.
Excellent.
So you don't have to. I mean, I think the main reason the long weekend's on because of the 2 grand finals. But honestly, everyone just boycott the NRL grand final. Nobody wants to see it.
So actually, as it turns out, the long weekend in so Melbourne had a public holiday today.
Okay, well worded.
Yeah. What was well worded?
Wait, what?
Melbourne
Yes.
had the weekend. Not
Yeah,
Victoria, Melbourne.
Yeah, Melbourne. Well, I figured that because you're in Victoria and you specifically said the public holiday is Monday. So Melbourne had the public holiday today in the lead up to the AFL grand final tomorrow.
Yeah, it's called grand final day.
Gay final day. Go.
Oh, come on, really?
All right, no,
Okay.
yeah, okay, yep.
Wow.
Something should not be said on air.
Yeah,
That's-
something should
that's-
probably not be said live.
I think
it's
I missed
no-
something, but I'm glad I missed it.
It's
I
no
think
different.
hopefully in the record it'll come up as one of those glitches.
Yes.
Anyway,
No, like Melbourne Cup, where Melbourne seem to think that it's a race that stops the nation, the grand final stops the nation. No, it stops Melbourne. The rest
not
of the
this
country.
one. Oh well, the
Don't
AFL
the rest
one
of Victoria partake in Melbourne Cup Day as well?
No, it's still a Melbourne Metro public holiday. There are plenty of places in Victoria that still work on that day. Whether it's a
I don't
full day,
think
whether it's a
Melbourne-
half day.
I think Melbourne realizes just how much the rest of the country doesn't seem to care.
about
soon as-
AFL. Yes, well, fair enough.
There is no other country. It's Melbourne. Melbourne is Australia.
I put it to you that everyone gives a shit about public holidays.
Oh yes,
Let's move on.
I'll take the day.
Let's move
Yeah.
on.
But yeah, just boycott the NRL grand final because no one likes Melbourne Storm, no one likes the Sydney Roosters. It's going to be the shittest grand final ever. Just everyone don't watch it.
Mikey's,
Well, no one was gonna watch
Mikey
it
is
anyway.
not bitter at all.
Just
Mikey, no one was going to watch it anyway. It's NRL.
good. Well, we'll see. Well, I don't want them to.
You
so
know,
I'll-
NRL stands for not really looking, right?
AFL stands for actually flying liquid.
No.
Probably not.
Fail.
Let's talk about some Transformers.
Let's
That's
do it.
what we're here to do. We are going to open the account with Bot Shots Weekly. This is the weekly TCCA Facebook photography competition. I said weekly twice in one breath, but that doesn't really matter. This competition encourages you to take bots out of their cabinets and out into the great big wide world outside to take some photos and just be a little bit creative. Now, you could argue that this week's winner, Alan Jones, may not have taken a bot out of the display cabinet.
I'm confused with this one.
We
So,
took something out of something.
So if you were paying attention to Alan Jones's Facebook feed this week, you will know that he has become a father this week. He's welcomed his first child into the family. And the first child bears a striking resemblance to a baby Optimus Prime. This is his winning bot shots photo for
That's
the
the
week.
thing.
And I got to say, it's pretty well deserved.
So,
yeah.
he actually had a baby, or they just set this up really well?
No. they had a baby.
His wife had a baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll
So that-
notice that they are in hospital.
Yeah, I mean, they just could have gone really dedicated to this because, like, where is the actual
They just
baby?
rented out a hospital room.
Shouldn't they have, like, I don't. Where's the actual baby?
It's. I
They
hope
probably
it's
just
not
put
under
it
the helmet.
aside. They just
I
said,
hope the
wait
helmet's
here, mate.
fake.
We've got to take a photo.
The baby's taking the photo. Gotcha.
Yeah. It's all voice controlled these days.
Mm.
Baby
Well,
can
he
just go
did
Googie
win-
Gaga take photo.
He did win the competition for September as well, so he's got a $5 Legends Gnaw out of it. So Not really what you'd want to dedicate time and hospital bed space taking up to win.
No, that
Very
was pretty
good
good.
photo.
Yeah. But he's also...
It is a good photo, and he is indeed a new proud father, so good on you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, he's also a very strict Prime collector. He has a shrine of Prime at his place. So, of course, when he brings a new Prime into the world, it's going to go on that shelf as well. Hopefully, fed.
You reckon the baby's name's Orion?
I have not seen what he's named it.
I bet it's Orion.
Naming your baby Orion is the same thing as naming your baby Divorce.
Or Rainbow.
Or Max.
You're really salty about this Starscream thing.
I know, I'm not. I'm going to win. I'm happy.
All right, let's move on. So, thank you. Box Shots Weekly. Weekly winners go into a monthly draw for a prize. Monthly winners will go into the hat for a yearly prize. You can find full terms and conditions at transformerscca.com. Now, look, a pretty amazing thing happened this week. And I feel the only real appropriate way to talk about it is to show this.
Hero landing?
Yeah, why not? So this week we were greeted with, and I believe this came up very briefly. Did it come up briefly last week that we were expecting the Bumblebee trailer? I believe it did, and I don't think any of us could have expected the internet to break as significantly as it did when this trailer hit. Now,
it wasn't just the Transformers fandom. It was just
everyone.
Oh yeah,
it went mainstream.
Mm.
It was not just Transformers fandom. Like
yeah.
there were articles posted on websites like Gizmodo and IO9 going, "Hey, the new Bumblebee trailer is here and it looks awesome." Now, we were expecting one trailer. We actually got three. There's different markets get slightly different. But there were three trailers. Thank you very much.
There were two.
There were three.
Jesus Christ.
What were the three?
For fuck's sake, Mike.
Just let him finish.
Okay, there were two. But anyway,
We got three trailers, and
Go
Brad, can you kick him out, please?
We'll just mute him.
Yeah, fair enough. Three trailers made their way around. There were two trailers came out on Monday. There was the official US trailer. There was a Chinese trailer that came out on Weibo that had some additional footage, and then another trailer got released later in the week with a little bit of additional footage as well. You could argue that they are all the same trailer, just with some different footage in each one.
Well, yeah, and then there was one that you wouldn't call a trailer, but that stupid. Oh, let's going to show a teaser for a trailer that's about to come out, which I thought was a trailer. I'm like, where the hell's Shockwave? It's not here. I was not looking at the trailer.
A lot of the speculation started on Saturday because someone actually grabbed the teaser. And the teaser got leaked, and so the teaser was out there on the internet, and there was footage of a very G1 looking Soundwave in there, and that Soundwave really set the internet ablaze because it was essentially the first time we'd seen like a G1 looking character so much on screen, and there was a bit of is it real, is it not, is it game footage, is it anything leaked? Is it a fake? Is it real? Turns out it was real, and there are very G1 looking robots coming up in this movie. We don't really know for how long for, because the movie is called Bumblebee and it's about Bumblebee on Earth. But we have seen, and we will see as we go through some of these screenshots from the trailer. We have seen that there is quite a lot of G1 Transformers stuff going on Cybertron. Now, because of the nature of the way that the trailers got released, some of these stills that we're going through are a little bit all over the place chronologically, but that's okay because the trailer is all over the place chronologically anyway. So here we are. We're looking here at what looks like a sort of a battle mode for Bumblebee. Presumably, this is maybe from a little bit later in the film. It could be early on in the film when Bumblebee gets the shit kicked out of him. And yeah, I don't know. Any thoughts, anyone?
Yeah.
I think this is from the opening when he fights someone who we'll talk about later.
Yeah, I never noticed the blown tire on his shoulder before.
Yeah, that's the thing I was going to say. If he transforms, he's not getting very far.
No, which is why we get the screen cap later of him crucial damage failing.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Error.
That's why I think that this is to the start of the movie because he's got his Jeep parts.
Maybe, yeah. Cool.
Yeah,
we'll
So when we'd seen teasers before and we saw the Jeep parts, I had assumed that was going to be later in the movie during some scene, something. But yeah, you could be right. Maybe it's from early on.
just the way just the way it was structured, because when we see him with the unknown character, let's call him, when he gets thrown off the cliff.
Do you mean the unidentified flying object?
Yeah, that one. He
Wow.
seems to be, almost dead, but then he goes and sees the Volkswagen. So then that's what makes me think this is the vehicle mode he had maybe for more time.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's all speculation until we see the film. But I think this is his first appearance. Then he gets the Volkswagen, then he goes and hides from whoever.
Yeah. And we did get the shot in the original trailer of him beside a mountain transforming from the Jeep mode, and even looking at the studio series where we have Camaro Bumblebee part of the Bumblebee movie release, we assumed at the time that the movie was going to end with him Camaroing into 07.
Is that model of Camaro 80s?
No, it's 79. 74.
Well, so then it's still
That's
could be that.
70s.
Okay, cool.
All right, shall we move on?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So Bumblebee doesn't have a traditional G1 look in the movie, but he does have his traditional G1 Alt Mode, which is nearly as good. So this is sort of one of a really good close up that sort of shows where the VW parts turn up on him, and his facial features and eyes and the big Autobot logo on his forehead, and his antennas that do tend to stick up when he gets surprised.
It's A form as B. I don't understand the excitement for this alt mode or bot mode whatsoever.
I think it's the larger surfaces and the panels on him. You know, he looks more easily identifiable and unique, as opposed to just being a whole bunch of shards of metal sticking out everywhere.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying this is what he should have been to begin with, and I kind of agree. I mean, I just like how it's a Volkswagen.
It's taken what the Last Night done and made more of the robot mode enclosed, but you still can't see the car bits.
Yeah, well, I mean, the car bits are staring you right in the face.
Well, the torso, yes, of course. But that's the same with all the Autobots and all the Decepticons. All the movie bots have had torso bits.
Finished.
Shards of junk and tinfoil and all that crap is a poor excuse for knocking on the films.
So as I was going to say, I think you're right.
Thank you.
Good. But now I'm annoyed, so I'm not going to. But no, you are right, because we did see in Age of Extinction and in The Last Night a simplification of the robot modes, but not to this degree. This is really taken that and run with it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
It's good because I said you're right.
It helps delineate the characters from each other. And I think
it does very much, and that was the point of the animation as well, and the cartoons. Like it differentiated the characters by color and by shape.
Red brick, yellow brick, white brick.
Pretty much. But I think the other thing that we haven't really considered is that the movie seems like it may have sort of shifted aesthetics halfway through production after they saw how The Last Night did at the box office.
Oh, yeah.
I don't mean it's a flop, but The Last Night showed people weren't as interested in the current state of the Transformers movies. They see stuff like this, and, the toys of this new Bumblebee design look much more similar to the classic movie Bumblebee design than this design itself does. So,
he doesn't have the door wings as well.
I wouldn't put it past it that they've sort of changed the way that this not just the way this character looks, but the characters in general appear in order to change this from less of a prequel to more of a G1-esque reboot.
Like, I can see what, like, maybe they did get rid of the door wings just to make it look, to make it kind of look more G1, I guess, because the toy clearly has it, and all the toys have the door wings, like the movie design. But this one clearly shows they transform and hide on his back. So even the MPM design, which have all been pretty faithful, he still has the door wings, and you can't really hide the door wings. So
the toy designs, that they generally have an 18-month turnaround. So yeah, it would make total sense to me that those, that was from an earlier design of Bumblebee in the movie, and then they changed it halfway through production. And it also, we'll get to the scenes on Cybertron in a bit, but those seem, as great as they look, they seem like something that was added later.
Let's hold on to that until we get to it, right? So let's stick to Bumblebee for now. So I don't know that there's that much more to talk about with this shot particularly.
These new assets created for this film. There's a couple other bots we'll get to in a minute that seem like leftover rejects from the Bayverse, but B himself, he looks fine.
All right. Now, speaking of leftover bots from the Bayverse, we are looking at the approach. So the way that the trailer cuts this together is that you see Shatter and Dropkick transform from their jet modes to their car modes, which makes it very obvious that they are in fact triple changes.
Show the CG modes off.
It may just be how it was cut together, but the way it's cut together in the trailer is that they turn to the cars, and then like a few seconds later they turn into robots as they approach a meeting with what is apparently what's probably Sector 7.
Are they approaching? This is one shot I wanted included. Take a look at the area, the landscape. Jason, go back one photo, please. Thank you.
I think they are.
Where are the power lines? Where are the power lines? Power lines are clearly going over the top of them, away behind them.
Also notice that Shatter and Dropkick switch sides.
There is not a single power. That too. So a little bit of movie magic there.
So yeah,
not the same scene.
Maybe it is not the same scene. But that's, like I said, that was how it was cut together. But maybe it's
God, Brad saw something that we didn't. Shit.
Oh, don't worry, there's more coming.
It's okay. I think you find that this was speculation we read online.
Go back to the previous screenshot. Another thing that people are just talking about the designs and everything, but I think the way that this movie looks to be shot is it's fantastic to me. Like, Travis Knight, he knows how to frame a shot. Like so many of the issues of Bay films, about he couldn't shoot an action scene. There's stuff in the last night where you had like that World War II scene had Hot Rod in it, and like the final battle had Nitro Z's in it, but you've got no idea because they're not in the shot. Like Michael Bay can't. He was never really good at shooting things properly. You couldn't see the transformations very well. But in here, Travis Knight's just like, yeah, look, here's this big open expanse. We're going to fully show off and just appreciate this awesome concept.
I would also just point out that actually makes it cheaper to animate.
I know, and that's the thing. It's more reusing assets, whereas they had a heap of characters designs they could reuse in the live-action films. Any of the films you can see characters that have long since deceased or anything in the background just to be filler for scenes, where here you've got 6 or 7 bots tops, where those bots are on screen, you're going to show them. I feel sorry for Hasbro. Seeing these go from alt mode to car mode to robot mode,
can I just say,
they can win here.
I don't. So, in the past, when people have criticized the robot modes or anything, you've squarely placed the blame on Hasbro and said Hasbro told them that they have to do this. Hasbro did this. Hasbro's done that. Hasbro forced this. And now you've turned it around and you're like, oh, I feel sorry for Hasbro. They have to keep up with this. No. You can't have it both ways.
That's a new film. What can I say?
It was either forced by Hasbro and they're fully in control and everything, or it's not. Which way do you want it?
Well, maybe I've seen some of the figures that are coming out. If they signed off on this, and they're idiots.
I'm just I don't see Hasbro actually producing triple changes because they've already shown us that we're getting Dropkick as a helicopter and nothing else.
Yeah.
But I would love to see these in the NPM line if they could actually do something about it, or even a third party. Because I really like these designs, especially a new female Decepticon. That's really cool.
Yeah. So there is a theory that we may actually get 2 figures for each of them.
Well, yeah, but like I can agree. Like that's cool and all, but like I don't.
Yeah, because I think triple changes, even at the movie masterpiece level, are going to be much harder to do for the movies.
Especially considering the modes.
It has to be a realistic jet to an accurate robot to a realistic car.
Yeah, it's not jet to tank where you can hide stuff. It's very
look
hard.
Look at how skinny that helicopter is compared to the size of the muscle car, and then look at how big that jet is compared to the size of the muscle car. That's going to
last time with Drift, they just went bugger it and released 2.
And released 2 toys and 2 complete. I mean, 1 toy officially, and then 1 reuse of a mold.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. I don't know. We could see, but like I don't want to. I want a self-contained figure, but it'll be difficult with these designs. I can totally see that.
Wait for third parties. Well,
Yeah, I have
thing
no
is-
doubt. You get unique toys on this. They will. I mean, what they did with Peru.
Unique toys is just sitting around waiting for someone to actually like give them a commission, right?
And even the Prime, like well, third party going at these triple changes would be some exciting engineering to.
Yeah. So
Make
I
stuff.
mean,
Oh,
I think.
This movie is a haven for third parties.
Yeah. So
We're going to get
I'd
a
like
lot of figures.
unique toys on this line because I think unique toys could really do it.
Yeah.
Justice.
All right.
Let's move on. So we've got the military meeting here now. Brad, you mentioned this is very very reminiscent of the meeting between Megatron and the military in the last night.
Oh yeah.
Well, a lot. We'll say that word. A lot of criticism. Where some criticisms for the previous movies, introduction or use of the military. Whereas this is possibly Sector 7, not the military, but. I think you need the military to show our might and how hard these things are to either kill or
that's the thing.
Work with, what have you.
In the Bay movies, the military presence was always just US military fetishism. Like Bay he loves the military. He's like, yeah, look at this. This is awesome. There's guys with guns and everything. And you know what? Yeah, we're gonna kill Blackout by having Josh Duhamel slide underneath him and shoot him in the crotch. That's exciting. Yeah, military. Whereas, you know what you really want? It doesn't sell the Transformers as anything beyond humans. It
makes me want to join the army. Really.
Action.
Yeah, it doesn't sell the Transformers as a legitimate threat.
$1 billion.
So
he didn't do it in last night. That's why I did make $1 billion.
Yes.
No, I didn't think that was a Megan Fox type character to draw in all the looky-loos.
All right. Let's stick to this.
Oh, she looked like her, but
anyway.
But she's 12.
So Shatter and Dropkick are in fact mid transformation into robot mode here, and then we get a pretty good look at them. So you can see the pieces of the muscle car, and you can see the jets. Some pieces of chopper and cars. This is a conversation that we've had a few times before about these figures when we were considering the fact that they might be triple changes. Turns out correct. Yeah. Now it does. There is a scene in the trailer where they appear to approach the military / Sector 7 with this hologram of Bumblebee and explaining that he is an enemy and needs to be found.
This is great. It's Decepticons being deceptive
and connish.
I
wonder what they offer to get them on side, because it's like, no, we're just going to capture you.
So I also quite like just looking at the pose here. So Shatter is the red one, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So Shatter is actually kneeling down as well, to sort of get herself down onto the humans level as well.
It's not imposing at all. No,
but I quite appreciate the fact that she's actually she's not standing over them. Like she is actually trying to enamor herself to them, and I'm not a threat. Let's come and talk to you. And so because they're both of them. In fact, Dropkick you can see on the right hand side as well. They're both leaning on their knees so that they can actually come down and talk to these humans on their level.
Yeah, it's Travis Knight. He knows what he's doing here. Like these shots are just so well.
I get a very Mad Max vibe from Shatter, like the guy, the Fury Road, the main bad guy. Like it looks like it's
the face sculpt.
Yeah,
well, he's doing the best he can from last night reject concept art. That's all this is. They've had these. This is all.
I think that's doing quite a disservice to it, Brad.
Yeah, I would go that.
It's clearly design and robots from the previous films.
Is it?
Is it? I just say these were made for the Bumblebee movie, and that the G1 designs have been added in later after the last night.
This doesn't fit Bumblebee. Doesn't. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. You get a lot from Cybertron, but
the Cybertron stuff, I think we can pretty safely say was added later.
It's a final credit scene advertising a new video game. Let's leave it at that.
We haven't actually looked at the Cybertron stuff yet, so whatever.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for Shadow and Dropkick. I love his voice.
Can we not be just glad that she doesn't have breasts or some sort of bikini
No,
or
she kind of does.
no,
she
but that's,
only has a car chest in a sense that any
Yeah,
other character
exactly.
has a car chest.
if not, Bumblebee's shining high beams and not her. So
Yeah.
I'm just glad that they didn't sexualize
Okay.
her. She hasn't got lipstick like
I
Chromia
agree.
and
If you
RC did
told
in
me,
Revenge of the Fallen.
if you didn't tell me this was a female, I probably wouldn't have got it. To be honest, like
Yeah.
that's not a female head sculpt. So yeah, I
When
agree with that.
when you hear the voice, you'd probably get it.
Well, with
Yeah.
the voice,
but
yeah,
even
but
then, it's not. She's not designed around.
It's not
Oh,
like,
let's make the
"Hello."
robot hot. It's no. Let's make the robot imposing.
yeah,
Yeah.
let's not make the robot hot.
And it's
not
exactly what-
sacrificing anything for it.
Yeah, it's exactly what sexual. I don't know the word between the robots is their characteristic and voice, or their voice and
I wonder if they're a couple.
I don't know the words. Anyway,
Yeah, they are.
They are
Yeah, that's
like
what they've described them as.
really, huh? There you go. So our first couple in Transformers. Well, the movie verse, anyway. That's an interesting concept.
next photo.
Next photo. So this is
Cybertron.
a version of Cybertron that does seem at odds with the versions that we've seen 20 years into the future. But it does seem to have. Well, it is a reboot. Let's stop being
Let's
stop being
get rid of
ridiculous
it,
and
so-
trying to draw parallels between this and the Bay movies. But
It's a
this
reboot at this point.
this does look a lot more influenced by the cartoon Cybertron design, where you can sort of see into the planet and see parts
Especially
of
with
the
the
planet.
gold.
It's even got the section like blown up down the bottom.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's,
it's cool.
Yeah,
So-
like if you were
Amazing.
actually going to take Transformers, take Cybertron from the cartoon in the 80s and sort of CGI it up and make it a little bit bigger and stuff, this is pretty much what you'd expect.
you can even see like the giant towers rising up in various places. I mean,
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
the-
what do we think this escape pod type thing is? Is it Bumblebee
This
in
is
there?
probably
or-
Yes.
this is probably the opening of a movie. Bumblebee's off to do some mission on Earth.
Yeah. Okay.
Or just vacating and goes wayward towards Earth.
And if we're lucky, there's a second scene later on where Optimus Prime sends a message and it cuts to him tearing shit up.
Well, we'll get to that soon. But yeah, this looks great. Like compared to the, hexagonal bullshit that was the other Cybertron and the other movies that we saw, everything was bloody hexagon or an octagon or whatever.
This
looks
this
much better.
actually doesn't look so different to the Cybertron that we've seen on screen as well.
Yeah.
Like you could, like especially in the last night where like there were pieces of it dragging across Earth. Like you could very much see that you could like reach in and pluck a piece out and pull it apart, and like that that doesn't seem incongruous. It just seems like it's a bit of a redesign. That's all.
Yeah,
But this seems a lot better than that.
it's a
that
planet
version.
ravaged by war.
Yeah,
Just in this case, it's shown, hey, here's a little bit of G1 for you.
yeah,
Love it. This looks
seems
great.
fine.
You say better, I say slavish to G1, but I'll get to that more in my final thoughts.
And what's wrong with that?
What's right about it? What's
Speaking of which,
yeah, here we go.
Oh,
Bloody
Travis
brilliant.
Knight,
Awful.
I love you.
so
What are you?
all right, cool it.
Mm.
Cool. So we are treated to a variety of jets that look characters that are very obviously inspired by their G1 designs. Of course, we're looking at Shockwave on screen here. You can see Shatter over to the left of the
I was
screen.
going to ask about that. Yeah.
Yep, and you can see what are quite obviously Seekers hanging out on the right of the screen. So there's even Seekers that appear to look like cone heads. There's a small one at the bottom there. There is a figure that is presumably Starscream / Blitzwing. There's a jet now. As we've seen in the trailer, since this is a Cybertron set scene, that the jets appear to have a tetrajet mode
see
as
one
they fly
floating.
around Cybertron. There's one coming into land behind them there. There is a little bit of disagreement as to which character is which here. Now, like we do see a character that is very obviously sort of Starscream's G1 colors. Looks slightly based on sort of the Fall of Cybertron designs, but it's sort of a bit of a blend of G1, Fall of Cybertron, and whatever else as well.
Yeah, it's its own thing.
I think it's a little bit interesting looking at these. There's a couple of things. There's two things that stand out to be in a massive way in this scene, and they're both Shockwave's thighs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just noticed that they're very.
Okay, can we talk about the legs?
Yes,
Thunder.
yes, we
Thunder.
can.
Thunder
Shockwave
fires
has
on
these
that.
thunder
Shockwave.
fires, and then the Seekers, their legs just go all the way up. Like they don't have torsos.
Yeah.
You want G1 aesthetic?
Well, they are.
This isn't.
Athletes.
It's not a G1 thing. They didn't have these.
How the
legs.
hell are they G1 aesthetic?
I'm not really complaining.
Their
Like
thighs.
it's not a complaint. It's just very strange.
I like it. It's different. You know, they look.
Yeah,
They're
like, it
alien
doesn't have to be spot
robots.
on G1.
So here's the thing, right? These are obviously G1 designs, but they're not G1. They're fine. They're fine. It is what you would do if you were going to take those designs that were in a cartoon 35 years ago and turn them into CGI that you could somewhat realistically expect to transform. It's fine. It's just a redesign.
This is what I wanted out of like realistic Transformers, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
I
that
can say.
Shockwave, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Like he's got weird thighs, but you know, whatever.
He's got weird thighs, but who doesn't?
You know.
Yeah, and in all fairness, like actual like people's thighs are bigger than their lower legs. It's just reversed in Transformers usually.
Trying to look like he does in Dark of the Moon.
No, God.
No.
Well,
It's just there's nothing. There's no distinct shapes to him in Dark of the Moon.
He's
It's just a whole bunch of
he's a
like,
beefcake.
vibes and stuff.
Rib cage.
Yeah,
He's an
just,
alien robot. He doesn't have an
Okay.
Earth mode transformation. He shouldn't
Yeah,
look.
I
Holy
get
shit!
that,
Who brought the
but-
movie apologist on the podcast?
Oh,
Yeah,
don't
right.
worry. It's going to continue.
Why do they
I,
exist even?
I am a movie apologist, right? But I would also say, why can't they be better?
And this
And
is
now they
better.
are.
This is definitely better. Like, God, that's beautiful.
5 billion, 5 films, $4.5
although,
billion.
You know
It
what's
doesn't
gonna
need to
look
be any
weird?
different.
It's gonna look weird having Shatter next to that Shockwave because like Shatter's obviously like a Bayverse design,
Yeah.
and Shockwave's more G1. So
I
That's
will,
gonna be hard.
I will put it to you that perhaps the Transformers, when they leave Cybertron and come to Earth, take on a more realistic Earth mode.
so maybe they've been there and came back. Is that what you're saying?
Maybe. Who knows?
Possibly.
Who,
I
keep on saying-
Shatter is missing the giant wings, but she has
Yeah.
off it.
Yeah.
That's true. Oh well, we'll see. But I just adore this Shockwave. Love the Tetrajets.
I keep on seeing cockpit windows atop of that right thigh of Shockwave. Looks like
What?
a window there, but don't worry
No,
about
it's just design.
it. Okay.
Silver.
I wonder, yeah.
I wonder
Te-
what he turns into. That's,
Can-
that's
can I-
the cool thing.
Yeah, that's the problem. We've seen the Tetrajets. Because technically, at this point, they shouldn't have alt modes.
No, they do have alt modes. They're
They
just
have
not
alt modes on
Earth-based alt
Cybertron.
modes.
What are you-
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Dude, did you watch More Than Meets the Eye Part 1? They do
That's
have
a,
alt
that's,
modes.
that's, a, that's a bad example, Mikey, because they all had Earth modes.
And we've never
No,
gone
no,
back to
they,
it
they
since.
had they
Yeah,
had
true,
their
that's
Earth
true.
look.
They were Tetrajets.
Yeah, Tetrajets and...
They had their Earth
Sept.
look, but then they
Yeah.
had the Cybertron mode. Yeah, I get what you
Yeah.
mean. But gorgeous. I think this is stunning.
Alright.
I did not expect this level of
Slavish.
Jeez.
Slave.
Look,
I
Brad,
can't
why
talk.
you can like? What's the complaint? I don't know
Brad,
what the
Brad,
complaint is.
you're negative on... You're so negative on
Let's,
this.
let's get to Prime.
Why?
Keep going.
But
We'll
what's
get-
the
we'll get to it
complaint?
then.
I don't get it. I don't
There's
know.
also like there's this whole Blitzwing and Starscream discussion, but
Well-
never next to that guy. There's also like a smaller discussion about whether or not that character is Acid Storm or Dirge.
Being a
I-
conehead.
Yeah,
I don't. It's
don't know.
clearly not a cone head. It's just a There's just a thing behind his head.
Yeah, the cone is
a
behind
cone
his head,
head.
but the cone isn't his head.
No, the cone's behind his head. So does that
Yeah.
make him a cone head? I don't think so.
He doesn't have the
Mike
impact
needs
on
it.
the
It's
shoulders
obviously
on.
referencing the cone heads.
Yeah.
Maybe it's his wing, or I don't know. It's
And also-
like if you look at it closely, you can see he's got a normal head.
And also, if you look at the purple one on the right, like you would think Skywarp, but
Looks like him.
holding a cannon like that is more typical of Hot Links.
It looks more
was
like
gonna
the full
say-
Cybertron weapons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which G1 character had a BFG?
Yeah,
Devastating.
I don't know why they'd go with Hot Link instead of Skywarp, but it just looks more like it to me.
Oh, maybe that's the welcoming committee.
Yeah,
Could
it could
be.
be a welcoming committee. I guess that is now Starscream,
So-
Blitzwing, and Storm then.
So is Hot Link the blue one? Because like, isn't that?
And Hot Link's like he's purple as well as Skywarp.
So who's the blue one that goes with Acid Storm and Sunstorm? That's never been confirmed. has it?
It changes
No one.
from time to time, and it's
Like
No
it's
Nobody.
Snowstorm? Is it something like that?
Shitstorm. Next photo.
Okay.
All right, just before we
Okay.
before we go on to this, so this does inform some of the discussion and the bet between Mikey and Max. look very carefully at the Seeker here. If you look at where my mouse is, because you've got this chest design here, an arch there that's over the cockpit, and this piece that hangs out here.
Yeah. Can we preface this as well as saying Travis Knight has come forward and said he wanted to make these bots very G1 aesthetically pleasing. They all clearly Seekers in that shot.
And
look at that.
This is very similar to that design.
It is
and
the same
yet it is
model.
Blitzwing.
It is an altered version
So
of the
what?
same model.
Okay, then what stops that guy from up there being Blitzwing as well? Why can't
But
that
the
guy be
fact that it
thing.
Blitzwing
looks
as well?
exactly like Starscream.
So what?
That's the problem you got.
This
You
is the
either
source of disagreement, and that's fine. So, I think part of the problem that we have, right, is that we saw an initial discussion about this that said it's Starscream, and then they removed that mention from the website where it's mentioned, and then later on, and I think it was at SDCC, Travis Knight came out and said, "Oh, that character is Blitzwing." Now, Travis Knight has also this week gone out and given interviews that said he wanted, he wanted to put all the G1 characters that he grew up with, and they're his Transformers that he knows from his childhood and stuff. So, like, it's a bit incongruous seeing every single other character with a very recognizable mode, and then going, "No, that's Blitzwing."
He went as far as name dropping Wheeljack.
Yeah, he did, and we haven't really seen anything that's obviously Wheeljack in the trailers that we've seen.
Oh,
But it's
I'll
possible.
point him out to you later.
Yeah, it's possible that it's sort of there as a blur in the background.
And it's going to be on that Cybertronian. They're just going to.
Now, this does appear to be so. Very early on in the trailer 2, we got this shot as there was a conflagration between this character and Bumblebee, with the question asked, "Where is Optimus Prime?"
Yeah. Also on that, clearly it's not the same voice actor as the Bayverse Starscream. So that's another thing in my.
But this is a reboot.
Prime is the same.
This is
The
a
Beast
reboot of the Cinemaverse, so why would it be the same
yes,
voice
it's
actor?
not a
reboot.
reboot though.
There's no confirmation of Prime being the same
No one
because
said
word
it's a
has it
reboot.
that
Oh,
Bailey's
it's a
been doing
reboot.
some.
They said
It's
a
nothing
prequel
other than a
to
reboot.
the
They're not
Bayverse.
going to want to touch any of the other movies.
Let's not forget this is being
Clearly
marketed
prequel,
as
but anyway.
Transformers
Guys,
6.
can you
Transformers
please
6.
stop talking over each other?
Okay.
It's not a
If-
pub discussion.
All right, let's say this movie does well, and then they continue making movies set in the 80s with this aesthetic.
Mhm.
Does that still count as being in the same franchise?
Yes.
Yes, because they've already said it is.
This is marketed as
just
Transformers.
like they've already said
what
this
it
is
would
Blitzwing.
take for you to call it a reboot is them to is the
Say
only
it
thing
is.
to make them say it's a make you say it's a reboot is they explicitly say this is a reboot.
Well, they haven't said that, and they've said it's part of the universe.
Yeah, so
I guess it's like-
look, I think it's fair to point out that Hasbro themselves are shy of calling this a reboot, right? They've said that it is a prequel to the movies, and not privately, but in interviews with Transformers fan sites, staff involved in the production of the movie have said it's a soft reboot. If
Yeah,
it
it's
does
X-Men
well,
First
we'll
Class.
continue.
From
It's in the
all,
same
there's
universe.
been internal reports and stuff to say that they're going to look at the reception of this movie to determine, what direction to take the franchise in the future.
Mhm.
Just come out of the writers' room when they fought up the last night, when they fought of this one. Whatever this one's sequel that's coming is going to come from that same writers' room. The same people are behind the scenes. Bay's out, but the rest of the people behind the scenes, except for Jablonski, which is a shame. But
You say that, but the music in this is actually something I don't mind talking about.
don't. It's trailer music.
It's trailer music.
Won't be in the film.
When also just when putting the Starscream name on this character, when making the Bayverse Starscream, they had the pitchy squealy, trying to be a G1E Starscream. This does not sound like a Starscream voice when I heard it. He sounds like a thug. He sounds like what a Blitzwing is, a thug, and he's a bully. And that's what Blitzwing character is. He sounds like Blitzwing. He sounds absolutely nothing like a Starscream. Every single Starscream we've got has been a high-pitched, whiny little manipulator, and this does not sound like him. That's
Because
another point.
he hasn't lost yet, maybe. Maybe he hasn't
So
suffered defeat.
so he has a voice change, does he? His balls drop or something.
If I had the shit kicked out of me, my balls would drop pretty quick.
So just to explicitly call it out here, Mikey, you're saying this is Blitzwing.
Definitely.
Max,
you're following the production.
I'm saying that this and the character on Cybertron are both named Starscream.
Okay,
All right.
I'm saying this is Blitzwing, and the character on Cybertron could be Blitzwing or it could be Starscream. I don't
Cool.
know.
We've
Okay.
seen reuse of character designs before with different names, so it's
Yeah. Okay, also, can we just point out, G1 Blitzwing and G1 Starscream share very similar traits. They both have wings, they both have a cockpit chest, at least some versions of Blitzwing have a cockpit chest. They share very similar traits, and I wouldn't be surprised if they make Blitzwing a Seeker. Like, that just doesn't surprise me. So,
Blitzwing has a totally different head,
Yeah,
and he
no.
also isn't red and white.
tell me, does the movie Megatron, does that look like Megatron? Does movie Starscream look like
No,
G1
but that's
Starscream?
not in this movie. That is in the old
Does,
movie.
Doesn't matter.
does this Bumblebee look like G1 Bumblebee? His head, tell me. Does it?
No,
Well, there you go.
well, because it's a soft reboot. It's not.
But that's the problem, though. It shouldn't matter because no, in the past it doesn't matter. But then you've got shots that we're going to get to in a minute. Clear up Soundwave and Prime that are so. Just before we move on, that robot mode for Blitzcream. Can we just say that's the perfect?
that is definitely not how we should refer to this game.
Blitzcream.
Can we
sound
call
like
him
Cure
Blitzcream?
all ailments.
All right, is that the
Blitzkrieg.
perfect design Hasbro put forward for a one-step changer like that?
I don't know,
torso.
Brad, because like you've already said tonight that Hasbro didn't design these.
Okay, all right. It's a shitty bot mode. Anyway, Tetrajets.
They do appear to be Tetrajets. And there
Welcome
we
to the cutscene for Siege of Cybertron.
Well, okay, so-
2021.
Fine. Why does everyone say it looks like a video game? Just because it's all CG? Like,
That's generally the defining characteristic of it being a video game.
The previous Cybertron stuff we've seen before is not CG. Oh, okay.
What the fuck?
Cybertron doesn't look like this in the other movies.
No, it looks
good.
It looks
This
better.
looks good here.
So let's talk about this.
I've
So-
played this level in War for Cybertron.
shut up,
That's
Brad.
Oh,
accurate
fuck
as
that.
well.
So let's talk about this. There's a lot of CG in this trailer that appears to be set on Cybertron, and it has attracted a bit of a video game brush because it does. It's fully CG, it's fully animated, and it does look a little bit different to what we've seen before in terms of robots and in terms of Cybertron. And I think it's fine. I think a lot of the discussion about it being a video game comes from the fact that people have confused the Soundwave design, which is coming up later. People saw this. People saw this and decided that this was actually
Easy, Mikey.
shut up. People saw this and decided that it was a cutscene from a video game because they thought that he looked a little bit like Fall of Cybertron Soundwave.
Yeah, he does.
No. So he does, but he also doesn't. Like
He definitely does and doesn't. Yeah, like the arms look like Fall of Cybertron, but the face doesn't.
He's
It's called
very-
being referential and like
very different to the War for Cybertron or Fall of Cybertron, whatever designs.
100%.
But people still will form the narrative that this is actually a video game cutscene and that there's some kind of cross promotion for video games going on.
yes.
Now,
What?
since I showed it very quickly, I just want to go back. Let's talk about Prime as well. Because
Oh,
Prime is in here.
Looks gorgeous.
looks so good. That's just it's straight up the IDW design.
He's
literally
got sort of
IDW
the raised things over the truck windows.
And
If-
the split down the middle. And
if
look,
I'm
he's
being
even got the
honest-
classic symbol on his shoulder.
It looks like
Mikey, can you let Max finish before you be
Sorry.
honest, please?
It's okay. I'm finished. I
He
was had to
looks like
gush for a
he's-
second.
He shot his wad. He's over.
It looks like his Earth mode. Like,
He does.
it doesn't look like it's a Cybertronian mode.
Look, have you seen the
Sounds
C?
pretty G1 accurate.
That is technically Cybertronian.
Let's hold on to that thought for a minute.
Oh, we're getting there.
So we've seen
Jason's conspiracy theory time.
yeah, no, I've got my conspiracy theory ready. Okay,
I've
so
got the facts.
we have seen the Autobots in Siege, and everyone's quite taken. Some are a bit concerned about the paint jobs on the Siege toys. Siege toys have a bit of a war-torn look to their paint job, which I think is something that Hasbro's sort of been experimenting a little bit. You can see it very obviously on last night's Squeaks, where they've sort of tried to make him look a little bit damaged
Oh,
up in his
God.
paint. The Siege Autobots look battle damaged. These Decepticons look battle damaged as well. Like these guys look like they've seen some shit, right?
So they should have.
Yeah, no, but these guys look like they've like seriously been through the war zone. So, Blitz Scream probably a little bit less. Can't really tell there. Prime looks fucking haunted, right? Prime has sad eyes, and
Prime always looks
you
sad.
can see where paint is worn off him, and he looks like he's seen some shit. Soundwave very obviously also like been through the war zone and stuff. Like these bots are battle damaged. Now, I put it to you that we are looking at the Siege Decepticon line.
I don't get it. What?
These guys are going to be the War for Cybertron Siege Decepticons. This is the reason we haven't seen them revealed by Hasbro yet, because we're looking at them.
Movie reveals.
But it makes sense.
We know there's a leader Shockwave coming.
Yeah, there's a Shockwave. We've seen Tetrajets in promo art.
There's a pair of Tetrajets right there.
We've had Generation Soundwave in the Bumblebee movie line.
Are you saying they're just going to release Movieverse designs in Siege?
No, I'm saying that they're shifting the Movieverse designs more towards what Siege is going to be.
Yep. That way you're not getting a complete flood of studio series with the Bumblebee movie figures.
Well, that would be fine because
we've seen one studio series figure for Bumblebee.
I
which
really
is Bumblebee.
Oh no, two. Sorry.
I really don't think we're going to get many Cybertron mode toys out of this line in the studio series line or in the official Bumblebee line. Well, maybe
There
we'll
is
get
no
like
official Bumblebee line. It's studio series.
No, there is an official Bumblebee line.
Yeah, but that's like
it's
the
part
little
of
kitty
studio
toys
series.
and stuff.
No, it's not part of. There is an official Bumblebee line, the one that has all the one-step changes and all that bullshit.
Question:
It's called Bumblebee.
When this is shown in Japan, is Prime's eyes going to be dark?
What?
Don't worry about it.
What?
Never mind. So, Tetrajets. Other figures. G1 inspired designs. I figure we're looking at Transformers Siege Decepticons. Let's find out in a few months' time.
No, I see
God,
that.
I hope you're right.
It'd make perfect reason why
the craziest friggin' thing.
And we're only a week or two away from NYCC, so we might find out sooner than later.
I don't know. There's been like 3 conventions since SDCC, and I haven't.
But New York
the trailer's
Comic-Con's
out.
the big one, right?
Yeah, and now the trailer's out, so let's see what it shows.
If you're right about this, Jason, I swear to God, this is ridiculous.
Well spotted.
Look, I don't think I'm right, but I think it's a good theory.
It is.
It's so it makes total sense as well.
They've all got the lived-in look. Now, so there is. Let's talk another conspiracy theory as well, right? Now, we have been told that upcoming movies have been removed from the Transformers slate, right? It all hinges on Bumblebee. One of those upcoming movies was to be a 2019 animated feature set on Cybertron. This, I wonder if this is actually a bit of a preview to see how people accept this look for Cybertron, for the bots on Cybertron. And if it's a goer, they've got the models, they've figured out the character design. It's just a case of animating it.
Yeah, all these assets.
Just give it to Machinima.
This could be.
Where's
Don't
the
do
duck button?
No, but yeah, these assets exist. It's totally feasible for them to do so. Right?
Yeah, but no, this is too animated for an animated film.
But everyone loves it. Except for Brad. Everyone who isn't Brad loves these.
So everyone that matters.
Oh.
Like,
I love you, Brad.
everyone who doesn't admin the group, Mikey.
I just don't see how you can't like this. Like,
Years ago.
I'm just going to tell you, like, it is fine to not like it.
yeah, but I just don't see how.
But it is not fine to judge it based on a trailer.
No.
Oh no, of course.
Which I think this is the last of the Cybertron stuff we're going to look at anyway. So
I think it is, yes. Let's move on.
And guess what? This movie could be a pile of shit as well.
Yeah.
You never know.
And can we just say how big of a brick turd Soundwave Ravage is to get out of that?
Why are you insulting my boy? This is my boy.
Is there a shot there of Ravage coming out of his chest? It's the size of his torso.
Going to open that one.
Okay.
This
He
is
is
my boy.
taking a massive dump to get that thing out of his chest. That is not a cassette. That is an ice block.
Is it supposed to be a cassette? Are there cassettes on Cybertron?
It's well, his whole torso has got Mini-Me in it. So yeah,
That's what Soundwave's been though. Anything just comes out of his chest and is a minion.
yeah.
What's the complaint?
It looks like shit.
So when Ravage ejects, Ravage is obviously not a cassette.
And not clearly able to fit into that torso.
Yeah, it's what's its face?
Mass shifting. There we go.
Mass shifting.
It's here. We're on Cybertron now.
lot
It's
more
G1.
needs
Mass
to
shifting
go.
can happen.
Alright. Is this
Mass
the last
shifting
Cybertron?
doesn't make sense.
Yes, it is.
Right.
It never made sense.
No, it's
but
not.
Oh.
So this is a better shot of Prime, right? So you can see a lot more of him. And as we were discussing earlier, that does appear to even be his G1 gun, just a little bit beefed up.
Those are smokestacks on his arms, guys. I'm sorry. This is a.
They look a little bit more like blades to me.
Yeah.
Nah, they're smokestacks.
No, if there was smokestacks on the Fall of Cybertron design, though.
There's
Yeah,
no
but they
oxygen
were-
on
they
Cybertron,
weren't
so
as
there'll be no
earthy.
need for smokestacks.
They weren't as Earth
No,
oriented.
it could be exhaust.
Smoke is not necessarily tied to the existence of oxygen.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
I like how you're easily convinced of this.
I'm just not in a fighting mood. I'll put my point across. and that's
Brad,
it.
you're wrong. Okay, yeah, I'll agree with that. Yeah, I don't know. This just looks so earthy to me. I don't know. This is I'm happy, but this looks like he's been to Earth. He's come back for some reason, and yeah, I don't know.
Right. So you all agree that this is the opening sequence, inciting incident.
we
I
don't
think so.
know if it's the
Yes,
opening.
yeah. No, I think it is.
Yeah, probably.
No mention of the tower behind Prime being Shockwave's tower, where the space bridge opens up from in G1.
Oh man, that would be awesome.
Go back a shot.
That'd
Go
be
back to the
sexy.
original Prime shot. You can't see it. When the Seekers fly over top, it's got those.
Yeah, I can
Is
totally
that-
see it. That
Is
looks
that
great.
Yeah, I
tower
can't
the one,
see that.
like the one
And-
with the big section on top?
Yeah,
Okay, because in the third trailer, we see that fall down.
yeah.
So-
Maybe.
All right,
Yeah.
so more conspiracy theory time about plot. What if this is the opening sequence? The space bridge is up there. Bumblebee, Dropkick, and Shadow go through, and then the tower gets blown up.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Bumblebee's escaping, and then Dropkick and Shadow chase after him, and then the tower blows up. Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna introduce space bridges in this film. I think that capsule pod, even in the other films where we've seen their protoforms ejected into space, I'm thinking this is like some spatial gun that shoots them off, because they can't just. Well, Prime did last night, but they can't just fly off in a protoform mode. I reckon this is some sort of launcher. It's like a space bridge. It's like a spatial cannon that launches them to infinity and beyond.
So you're saying like they put in a pod, and then they get instead of something like opening up like a tear in like this like fabric of like whatever how space bridges work, like they tear open a door. You're saying that they actually get put into like kind of like escape pods. They get put into these pods and then launched out.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I get it.
Instead of like G1 where the top opens, your beam goes out and they
Yeah,
fly
yeah.
off. In that, it's more. We've seen earlier the pod leaving
Pod
Cybertron.
ejecting, and that has to
Maybe
have
this
someone
is something Shockwave was working on, and it's a way of getting Bumblebee off planet.
in it. Maybe it's the McMuffin of the movie, and Bumblebee's in with it.
Yeah. I'm gonna hazard a guess, going off what we've seen before, and just to tie it into the other films. And if it works, it does tie it into the other films. That this is a hologram we see from Shadow and Dropkick when they're talking to Sector 7. Because I still don't believe you have two sophisticated robots coming in here and all that military there covering them, and we're going to show, here's this little Bumblebee, here's this little Volkswagen, help us capture it, and we're going to help you. Let's just shoot them and take them. We've already got
we have
Megatron.
red eyes and we're not evil at all.
Yeah, we've already got Megatron on ice. Oh, here's two more big bots that clearly come in and showed off their capabilities when they landed.
That
Oh,
will also be the other thing. This is obviously a Transformer hunting unit that would have Megatron.
Sector 7
guessing-
has Megatron in the original
yeah.
movie
If-
timeline.
Technically,
Yeah.
technically that needs to exist. If they're going to even
No, it doesn't.
rebooting it, even if it's rebooted.
So this
No,
means
it
Megatron-
doesn't. You just don't talk about it.
Okay.
So this means Megatron's not on Cybertron then. So
It
we
doesn't
won't see
mean
him at all.
anything unless you see Megatron in the movie or hear someone reference where he is.
Well, they're not going to show Buckethead, otherwise it's going to clearly show it's long ago on a planet.
Why
Jason
do
really
you-
doesn't want this to be a link to the other movies. Does he?
Why do you think we're seeing Shockwave?
Yeah. Not to mention the fact he's got the same eye from the other films as his previous character in the Ravage. Where'd the beach scene go? Oh no, we're getting to it. Okay.
What do you mean by that, Jason? What do you mean we're seeing Shockwave?
Well, Shockwave's in command
because there is some question over Megatron. So why not use Shockwave instead?
So that's what I'm saying. Megatron's on Earth, captured by Sept.
Yeah. So you just remove Megatron from the plot of the movie, and it's no longer a question that needs to be answered.
Yeah. Even just drop line that say he's missing in action or something.
Or you just don't reference him at all.
If they go through...
Take what I've said and just make it say something else.
I'm not sure that we won't have one...
We've seen Hoover Dam. It should
we
not
will
be
have a
shot.
reference to Megatron in this movie. Megatron will be set.
I want to see Megatron on ice. Just to call back. But anyway.
Sounds like a drink.
Oh, yeah, it's brutal. It's like Wild Turkey, but only better.
Nice.
All right, let's go on.
This is a good scene.
Yeah, and this is the other thing as well.
Humor.
Beyond the designs. Yeah, the humor. Like heart. Like actual
emotion.
So the scene that we're looking at, Bumblebee sneaks into Charlie's house from the garage, presumably when she's out, and starts familiarizing himself with the room, except he's a little bit big and a little bit clumsy as he moves around the place. And this is one of my favorite scenes in the trailer. It's not quite the moment that I wanted from it, but over the course of the second and the third trailer, we saw Bumblebee stumble around Charlie's house a lot more, backing into things, making things fall off shelves and stuff like that. He's got quite a physical presence inside the scene, and it's all very clever, making things, making shelves move and stuff when you're adding the CGI character in later. And then after making a bit of a mess, he then sort of stops and sits on the couch, which promptly breaks and collapses under his weight. Now, my favorite moment of this is just after this happens, as the couch collapses, his little blue eyes become big blue eyes, and his eyes go wide with the surprise of the couch collapsing under him.
Surprise.
And his antennas stand up as well.
So soldier in a 4 million year old war, by the way.
Yes.
But Bevo's Bumblebees wouldn't have fit in this room, I don't think.
No, there's definitely a size difference.
There is so he gets an upgrade or something.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, it's a reboot.
But the inside incident here was tries to pick up a soft drink can, and he doesn't have that touch, that magic touch.
He doesn't have the dexterity.
No.
Because his fingers are the size of soft drink cans.
Touch or the power.
And it, of course, bursts and he gets startled by it. But that would go into him patting his pet dog human, and has the dexterity to be able to pat her and not scalp her.
Yeah, no, or crush her head. Yeah.
So there is so this scene in the trailer is actually the one thing that doesn't really sit that well with me. Like, I feel like given the size and weight of Bumblebee, that when he's patting Charlie's head here, I feel like Haley Steinfeld has kind of no-sold it. So like they're aware that there's going to be something that's going to be touching her hair and moving her hair, but like Bumblebee is big and heavy, and like as he's delicately touching her and like patting her on the head, like she doesn't really react like there's a huge robot patting her on the head, hitting her on the head.
Yeah, well, it's only head movement.
Have you ever like patted like a puppy?
Yeah. When like when you pat a puppy, or when I pat my cat, like when your animal sees you reaching for it, they sort of like sometimes flinch, pull away a bit, a little bit, duck down a little bit. They're not quite sure what's going on, but she just stands there for this.
When you're talking about the weight of Bumblebee, I thought when he sits on the couch, I thought he would have immediately broken the couch, because that would have been a very
it's the 80s. It's the 80s. They make very sturdy couches.
Very sturdy couches. They can hold about however many tons Bumblebee is.
1,300 kilograms.
That's all the sort of stuff I'm happy to let slide, though. Like,
I did.
I feel like this stuff will probably be better in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like you get your cat or your dog, you can pat it gently where it sort of moves with your hand and everything else, or you can get there and just grab by the head and drive it into the carpet. Like at least you've got that context of I need to be soft because it's a lesser being. Where Bumblebee sort of got it here, but you should at least see a head sort of duck down a bit, or where all you see is a hair. There's someone in a green suit standing right about there beside her. That's just there.
Anyway, so there is this scene that takes place on the beach, which is quite funny, and it seems to happen around this time where Bumblebee's patting her on the head. But they talk about the fact that Bumblebee needs to remain in disguise and needs to hide and can only really show himself to Charlie. And this is a part of it here. I think this looks like it's mid transformation, in fact. But there is a cute part after this where she goes and hides behind the rock here, and Bumblebee tries to hide behind this one. And
yeah, that was funny.
And there's one where like she ducks up and she ducks behind the rock, and then she looks behind, and you see Bumblebee like attempting to hide behind the rock, and she's like, "Really? No." I'm like, no, it is quite funny.
And this is another sort of indication of the budget and how they're really making the use of what they got. There's no car marks leading here. There's no other signs on this beach that Bumblebee's been standing anywhere else but where he is now.
That's a good point, actually.
The problem with sand, if you're going to use sand, you need your continuity producers or whoever's in charge to make sure the car obviously drove here, Bumblebee walked here or something. There should be footprints.
Maybe on the right, just there.
It actually does look like there's some kind of stuff going on here, but not as big as that.
I want to feel positive. I am feeling positive. Don't ruin this for me.
It's fine. It's fine. You can add footprints to a beach in post. It's fine.
The other problem with sand is it's coarse and it's rough and it gets everywhere. So.
Yep, and it is quite annoying.
Maybe that's why Bumblebee's
flown over. Everyone said.
Maybe that's why Bumblebee's having trouble transforming.
I thought Max would at least get that reference, and
I got that reference.
Oh, okay, good.
There's not much else nowhere else you can go with it, really.
So we've got the destroyed couch in the foreground here as well, and Charlie comes home and quickly scolds Bumblebee for the damage that he's done to the house, and then he quickly transforms into the Volkswagen, fooling nobody.
That was that's his little escape mode. His little oh shit, I'm in trouble. I'm getting out of here, and turns into a bug.
And parents come home and go, "How the hell did you get that inside?"
That's so good.
It was clever, very good.
All right, look, we've spent a long time talking about this. I think it's safe to say that we're all looking forward to the movie. We'll all probably be there on December 21st.
Oh yeah, I feel immensely positive about this.
There was in fact a cartoon that I should have opened up from a website. It came out yesterday or today about there was two characters talking about, oh man, did you see the Bumblebee trailer? Oh yeah, that's great. Soundwave's in it, and
yeah.
And then the other characters like, oh no, they're going to mess up Soundwave. He's like, yeah, it's not going to be any good. And then it cuts to December 21st, 2018, and it's Soundwave and the other guy running towards each other on the beach. It's great fun.
That is a good cut. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it was fun.
Well, that sort of leads to some of the online, not in Transformers fandom, just general people, critics, everything else seeing this and having their memory from a childhood of that Soundwave and everything else and going, oh wow, this movie looks better. This movie's going to be better.
I feel like that's Travis Knight's goal.
Well,
I think that's quite. I think going for the nostalgia is actually a big part of what they're doing here.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, because there hasn't been any Transformers since,
like a good movie,
and there shouldn't be any Transformers post.
I didn't even know what you just said.
Good. That's all right. Let's get into some other news.
Very quickly, because we are in fact running to about an hour now. So now that we know that Soundwave is a thing in Transformers Bumblebee, it does make sense why the figure is being re-released and return in revised look for the Bumblebee movie. So there are a couple of side-by-side photos online there. If you'd
Mikey's not buying it.
No, this is the thing that's upsetting, because this means that we've got less of a chance of getting an actual figure because they're just releasing this.
Yeah, it could end up in studio series. Who knows?
Yeah.
God,
There's third parties, Mikey. You think no third party is going to make a movie Soundwave?
That's
God.
true. God,
There's
Soundwave
a war for Cybertron. There's a for Cybertron Soundwave that looks just like that one.
Oh God, no, it doesn't.
It does.
It's different. Way different.
The War for Cybertron Soundwave toy isn't the greatest toy ever, and it doesn't really capture the.
It's quite true.
Not the deluxe, no. Full Cybertron.
They're not that good.
All right,
no, they're not good. That plunger.
So we've left this story in purely so that we can mock the name of the company. So Dicky Toys It does currently make some remote control cars, I think, in some of the movie toy lines, and they're back bringing out a remote control Bumblebee who does look like he's had the shit kicked out of him as well. Yeah, that's coming up.
Yeah. Best alt mode in the film.
Congratulations, Simba Dicky. You done good.
Yeah, I don't know why it's called Simba Dicky, because it just says Dicky Toys on the logo there. But
They
yeah,
really like the line.
Simba Dicky does sound like it's an offshoot from the Lion King.
Yeah, it's probably like Takara Tomy, which is just Takara and Tomy.
Yeah, exactly. You had like Kettle Toys in that in the 90s, where it was just an off branch. So
Takara Tomy does have Takara and Tomy on their logo.
Yeah, that kind of makes so much.
Anyway, very quickly as well, this company, Super 7, has revealed a New York Comic-Con exclusive thing that looks a little bit like a grey Optimus Prime. Does anyone know what this actually is?
That's a vinyl toy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those non-transforming bullshit.
Of course it is. It's a licensed Transformers figure. Of course it doesn't transform.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, we are looking at a Optimus Prime something Super Cyborg. Cool.
Who wants that?
Well, look, like this is the kind of thing that we'll all mock, and then it'll come out on day one of New York Comic Con. It'll be like, oh, this is sold out. Shit, we wanted that. Don't know how big it is. It looks like it could actually be kind of large.
Fairly decent.
Yeah. There's also what appears to be a Megatron decoy.
No, that's cool. At least that's harkening back to the original stuff.
Shockwave colors.
Yes, it's Mega Wave. And there's Magnus Prime. I don't know. Yeah, cool. So yeah, they're not quite super deformed. They're just little guys.
Yeah.
They've got big hands, but yeah.
Yeah, it's the only stuff we've seen leading into NYCC, so we're just interested in the next week or so to see what else comes forward.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Sure. What else do we have? So this was the source of some discussion before the show. Amazon Australia does appear to be performing one great service to the collecting community, which is leaking upcoming Transformers like a sieve. So Amazon Australia was, of course, the first place that we saw the Prime Wars trilogy, Punch, Counterpunch, and a couple of other figures. And now we have Transformers Hightower action figure. Now, Hightower was one of the Constructicons in Revenge of the Fallen, I believe.
He was.
Upward inflection on the end of that, so that Mikey will tell me that I'm correct. Because we have no image available of these guys, but they will coming soon.
Hightower. If they're releasing a Hightower, he is by far the ugliest Bayverse design ever that they've ever made.
Maybe he's better in Studio Series.
Oh, he's
just a note. He never had a robot mode. We only see him in limb mode.
That's true, but the Legends toys gave him a robot mode, and it was he was like a scorpion, but his head was in a cage, and he was a scorpion type thing.
Hightower has a special place in my heart for being the source of the enemy scrotum.
So basically, they're selling a Studio Series scrotum.
Well, it's got to come off the wrecking balls. Perhaps would this
come in like a Calvin ball?
What if this is just filling the gap, like filling the hole that we didn't get?
No, it's the scrotum, not the hole.
We had mixed mass, we had long haul, we had
Rampage.
I was going to say.
I think what you're trying to say is we had mixed master, we had long haul, we had
Rampage.
We've had most of them. We need
Hightower wasn't a figure. Yeah.
All right. So anyway, look, it's an upcoming figure. It's worth pointing out that there's sort of product description that ends in the words, "This copy is intended as placeholder text only and is not representative of individual items in the line."
Or it could just be a what do you call a code name? I don't think we're getting a Hightower toy.
We don't know when or if this item will be back in stock.
I think we're getting a Hightower toy, but whatever. We are also apparently getting a Cogman.
Good. I haven't seen the original one yet.
So there is thought because. So I think it's because of the model numbers that these are thought to be a part of the Studio Series line.
Yep.
So this one looks like it's actually been available since July on Amazon Australia, and just someone's not found it until now. But yeah, so there's a couple of new listings that imply some new figures coming out. And what do we got? There's the last story here, which is a masterpiece style Deathsaurus, somewhat IDW inspired, coming from MMC, and touching a little bit close to home. He has the name D Zeph, which is a reference to Leonard Tanner's alias online of Decepticon. He likes MMC, and MMC likes him right back.
Yep.
He runs a whole lot of their social, like he helps out with
He
their
does,
social media
yeah.
and stuff. It's a nice little touch, you know.
Yeah, very much. Yeah, and of course, he likes Deathsaurus as well. So
It helps that the figure itself looks bloody incredible too.
It does. It's a fantastic looking figure, and the fact that he's got it named after himself is just another awesome.
It's great. So look, it is. So it does appear that MMC has sent out prototypes for photographing from a few people. These ones have come from UNEM Studios, and we have also seen them actually from Leonard himself. So yeah, looks cool.
It's missing the other breastmaster.
No,
this is the final color, is it?
No, it's a prototype.
That's all right. I was going to say. Yep.
All right, that is it for news. Very quickly, should we talk about some new acquisitions? I almost didn't have anything until 20 minutes before we started recording.
So Posty's been.
No.
Oh.
Look, anyway, I'll go first. So I did see some of the New South Wales crew tonight for dinner, and the inimitable Brad Towner, he of Armored Heaven / TF Space Bridge Collectibles fame, was there with some Legends figures from Power of the Primes in stock. So I picked myself up an Outback and a Cindersaur. Now, so I don't actually have Slash, so I like the colors of Cindersaur, so I decided to grab him / her. We don't really know whether Cindersaur is male or female. So not that it really matters.
Do you have the Dinobots?
I do not.
Yeah, so you still get that mold, but in a better looking color scheme.
And it's a better faction.
I quite like the color scheme for Cindersaur, thanks.
Yeah.
And I don't really want the Power of the Primes Dinobots.
Yep.
So those are my acquisitions. How about who can go next? Max?
Me? No.
Nothing. Mikey?
No. Yes.
Mikey, you have quite a big acquisition there. Would you like to pull the camera back?
Also coming from Mr. Brad Towner himself. I got a package of 2 figures, and I got Mr. Outback himself.
Nice.
Really, really good figure. Lots of fun to just mess with. I never owned the Brawn mold, but this is really nice. Head sculpt's awesome, and he's going to be repro-labeled up. And the one that I've been looking forward to for the most,
out front.
Predaking.
Power of the Primes Predaking.
Power of the Primes Predaking. Yeah. For a very decent price on his website.
Very good.
Yeah, it's big. He's chunky. He's pretty heavy.
Chunky monkey.
Yeah.
Hey, so he has a really good, really coherent combined form.
The colors help.
I really like it. Yeah,
the colors help. I actually love the fact that each Voyager class, and these Voyagers are big Voyager classes. They're very chunky, and they're not the typical Voyager class. They're like the original Voyager classes of back then. They all come with a component that adds to the chest. So Dive Bomb comes with a big part of the arm here, and he also comes with a bit of the torso. Rampage comes with the armpit area. Then the Headstrong and whatever they're calling him now, Thorax, Tantrum, they come with the thighs. And some people have been saying that, the thighs get in the way too much. They really don't. In the beast mode, you can hardly tell they're there. In the robot mode, they don't hinder anything, so they're fine. He's a lot of fun. I'm going to repro-label him up because with all the Titans I've got so far, they've all been repro-labeled. And I'm going to eventually get that upgrade kit that gives him the sword and bigger wings and articulated hands and all that type of stuff, because I really do like him. And yeah, I think he's a really well-designed figure. Some people say this guy's garbage, and I just don't see it. He's really well put together.
They're like me and probably not Predaking fans, but still.
Well,
You
yeah,
can't.
I think they're probably people who've paid $500 for Nero Rex.
exactly.
Probably,
yeah,
probably want to protect the value of their investment.
Yeah, exactly, or something like that.
Yeah.
But he's
Sure
a really
can.
really decent figure. I suggest if you're on the fence about him, get off it because he's really good. So, yeah, that's what I've got.
I'm probably going to get him at some point. I don't consider him as urgent to get as Devastator, as I felt Devastator was at the time. Like I've never been that enamored by the Predacons, but like he's a nice big transformer. I'll probably get him, but probably not at the $300 mark.
I've always liked the Predacons as well, so that helped. But like, I never liked, whenever I saw Devastator, I never liked him, and even when I got him in hand, I'm just like, this isn't a good figure. So I
Hold on.
Max has
Devastator
been
we're talking
triggered.
about?
Max has been
We're talking
triggered.
about Combiner Wars, Devastator.
We're not speaking again. You want to?
Like he's not good. He's not a good figure, mate.
What are you talking
He's
about?
the best Devastator on the market, including
He's
third party.
legitimately, he's honestly one of the greatest figures ever made.
Agreed.
Like by
Disagree.
any objective measure, he's
What about
not
the elbows,
perfect.
mate?
No,
What
It's
about
not,
the
it's not very objective, but yeah, sure.
Elbows, mate.
elbows.
Devastator has elbows.
The price
the
reflects
components
that.
don't.
It's 6 voyages. Like
So,
no, not 6
5
voyages.
voyages and they're perfect.
They're not perfect. They got big bloody chunks hanging off of them. I'm
Yeah,
not saying
but
that's a bad figure.
They,
I think
it
that looks like a
works.
really good figure.
Devastator doesn't work.
Hey,
He's
Brandon,
just
you
a
got that
mess.
bell?
Waiting.
Mixmaster is my favorite Constructicon, and yet it's ruined in that set.
Well, it's a good thing. There's an alternate version that has all of these upgrades.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, you don't have to buy the upgrades for Predaking to look good. You have to buy the upgrades.
You
for
just said you're
Devastator.
buying the Predakings to make the upgrades to make Predaking
No,
look
no, no,
good.
no.
That is
he's
true, you
fine.
did
No,
say
he's
that.
fine. He's fine by himself. No, I said I'm buying it because it makes him look better. But like,
That's what the perfect effect stuff does for
And that's when I shot him,
Yeah.
Your Honor.
no. But that's the thing. Devastator looks crap on its own, and it only looks decent when you get.
Devastator looks fine
Mikey.
on my shelf.
Mikey, turn him around. How useful is he as an ice cube tray in the freezer?
What?
Predaking. Show us the back of
The
him.
back of him. What's wrong with
Yeah.
the back of him?
Can I use it as an ice cube tray?
Yet again, we come to this question of do you
Oh, look at
display
that!
your Transformers looking the wrong way?
Just fold those black bits up and you got a nice big storage container there for some water.
And what's wrong with that?
Well, I like big
Cleverly
ice
done.
cube.
Guys, maybe how about this? Stop trying to shit on each other's combiners.
Okay. I'm just saying,
I'm not shitting
Devastator.
on his combiner, he's shitting on my combiner. Okay?
It's not your combiner. I'm shitting on the combiner in general.
Oh my god, you
Well, I'm
guys.
taking this personally.
Well, speaking of
Well,
shitting
you have poor taste in figures. There you go.
overruling screenshots. This is going back a little while, just so something to show. Bumblebee, these RID bots are quite fine. They're nice. They got all their
Is it a
bits
Warrior
for-
Class B?
Yeah, yep.
That looks good.
Yeah,
Like-
like he's a good figure. He's got all the posability.
Show us his back.
No ice cube tray there. Back of the thighs are enclosed. Back of the legs are enclosed. There is no hollow sections, even in the arms. Look inside the arms.
Is he a combiner?
No,
There you go.
he's
Oh,
the same price point.
There was a
Same price
combiner.
point. Yeah, all he is later
Well,
on.
technically
Yeah.
he was, wasn't he? Eh?
Yeah.
But that toy isn't.
Yeah. Anyway, there's some good bots from that line, but
No, I'm not saying there isn't. I love Thunderhoof.
yeah, Thunderhoof Quillfire is good as well. I've got Steeljaw.
And Bludgeon. Bludgeon's great.
Yeah, Steeljaw. Steeljaw's great as well, even though he's had an accident. That's in the toy box. Anyway, we need to close out. We're going
We
too
really do. We really do. We're way over time. So
Yeah.
unless Max and Mikey want to go for another round.
long.
It's Blitzwing
No,
and
I-
Devastator's horrible.
I can't. We're going to be going
Closing
for rounds
statement.
for the next 3 months.
Closing,
Okay.
closing statements. Mikey, you have 10 seconds.
Blitzwing's horrible. It's Devastator sucks. No, No, whoa, okay, I screwed that up. Blitzwing. It's Blitzwing and Devastator
10
sucks.
seconds.
You really did. Max, 10 seconds, go.
Right, Travis Knight has shown a massive amount of respect to the franchise, and I firmly believe that it will absolutely be Starscream, given it looks exactly like Starscream. See, Mikey, I did it properly. Well-formulated argument.
You have gone well over 10 seconds.
Yes,
Mikey,
we screwed it up.
Yes, but you savoured every moment of it, Jason.
You screwed it up.
Max, I agree with you, and I'm adding $50 to the prize pool.
Oh.
Wait, so you're saying it? Wait, no, I'm not bloody. I'm not giving
No,
$50 each.
no. If
How
it's
does this
50
work? Tell me how this
If
works.
it's 50
I
bucks,
also
we
don't
take
actually know how
25
this works
each.
because it's not a fucking prize pool. Brad has just decided
Hold
to
on.
insert himself into the bet and get $25 out for nothing.
All right. I agree with Max.
You make a separate bet.
That is not how bets work, Brad.
So
I
you're
want
gonna
50.
take the money away from Max? What, you're gonna half? That makes
He's
no
gonna agree with
sense.
Max,
I'm
and when
adding
Max is
$50.
right, he's going to take the money for no input.
I'm happy to
It was
receive.
just like,
Okay,
Max,
I'm
give me
saying
half
I'm
your money
happy
or
to
you're off the
receive.
podcast.
I'm happy to receive $50 from both of you. That's fine.
That's it. If you win, you get $50 from each of us. If Max wins, we get $25 from each of us.
Guys, I think there's only one
No,
thing to
that
do.
just that's just shit it all over Max then.
Guys, I think there's only one thing to do. We need to call the TAB and get an official odds on this. We might try and do that over the next.
Screw the grand
that's
final.
never
This
gonna
is what it's all about.
Yeah, on topic.
Yeah, look, if your side scores in the first half of the game on the in the NRL grand final on Sunday, then it's Blitzwing.
If your seeker's called Blitzwing on Cybertron in the first 5 minutes of the Bumblebee, you
must
win.
quit. All right, that's it.
Well,
That's it. End of the show. Thank you for listening, everyone. If you're watching along with the live record, thank you for checking us out. If you made it through the arguments, then thank you even more. Now, to find out more about these stories, head over to youtube.com and search for Bumblebee trailer, because that's basically all we discussed that was worth checking out tonight. You'll find the links to all of our stories in the show notes posted to the Transformers Weekly Facebook page and the Podbean site. Our Podbean site is transformersweekly.podbean.com. If you want to get in touch with us, jump onto Facebook, look at Transformers Weekly, the Australian Transformers Weekly site page, whatever it is on Facebook. I don't know. We're all in Transformers Collectors Club Australia, the discussion group on Facebook. If you're not already subscribed, find the podcast on iTunes, Pocket Casts, YouTube, and other podcatchers of choice and distinction. The RSS link, if you really need it, is in the show notes. If you search for us, you'll find us. Australian Transformers Weekly is a production of Transformers Collectors Club Australia. We are a registered club in Victoria, run by volunteers who donate their time and money and arguments to make the club better / more argumentative for everyone. TCCA's goal is to connect Transformers fans around the country. We do it by engaging the collecting community. You can find out more information and some affordable yearly membership options to show your support for what we do at TransformersCCA.com. That is all from us. We'll be back with more Transformers news next week and hopefully more revelations as to whether or not we are looking at Starscream, Blitzwing, or both. Goodbye.
To NYCC.
Look, we will be getting some NYCC reveals next week, so we'll see whether or not they come in before the record.
Lovely.
Thanks for listening, everyone, and goodbye.
See you guys. Closing out the